I just welcome everyone. Today's Tuesday. Usually Aniko does a Tuesday. She calls it Transformational Tuesday. She asked me to switch, so definitely tune in to Aniko on Friday. She'll be covering Friday. I'll take care of today, and we'll get things turned in a good direction, because many of us practice something called the miracle morning, or take some time in the morning to really focus on putting our mind in the right place, practicing gratitude, these kinds of things that start your day off well. And then we offer these calls in the afternoon so that people can kind of get back on that high level frequency, think about things in a more positive way, or get some kind of little trick or tidbit. Where do I find the Miracle Morning? You can find the Miracle Morning, Francis, in the training documents. It's under self-development. Alex has given his login information so that he's really fun. I mean, Audible hasn't shut him down, even though he's got like 250 different devices linked into his account. Isn't that funny? Yeah, so it's Audible. It's Audible. He's purchased it, and he just lets everyone use all. There's a number of really fantastic books in that self-development tab in his Audible account, including Miracle Morning, 10X Rule, Go for No, a whole bunch of really good, and he has it in kind of his suggested order. And then, of course, we all have our own little tools and things that help us stay on track. And that's what these midday success mindset calls are for, is to steer the ship a little bit, because we can get going, our activities start taking on momentum, we pick up our associative mind of like, oh yeah, that, and we get ourselves a little like maybe hungry, or maybe not hungry in the like ready to work kind of way, but like hungry in the empty stomach kind of way. So we constantly joyfully get to steer ourselves, and that's what these calls are for, is to take inventory. How am I doing so far? The middle of the day. How did my activity go so far? Am I on track? And we do it from a place of mental clarity first. So we're going to take some time to do some of that, and I've got a little bit of content. You started reading the 10X Rule, Francis. The 10X Rule is very fiery. It's very much like, just take the bull by the horns and make it happen, which is a powerful approach and necessary for entrepreneurs to have some of that spunk and fire. It can, at least to me, occur as a little hyper masculine periodically, but that's okay, because we want to use all of our faculties. We want to use all of our facilities. So people who naturally go into that sort of fire, spunk, lots of masculine energy can come to my mindset call and get a little girl nurturance, a little love, because at the end of the day, we are in the service of making dreams happen. And not everyone is out for the same dreams. People are attracted to this business because they want to spend time with their children as much as want to buy big boats. People really have human dreams that don't always look like material acquisition. So it takes all voices to chorus out the belief of dreams coming true. And that's why we take this time to lean into each other's belief and build faith together around results beginning in the unseen, beginning with the faith and the emotional energy of attraction. So we can work with different things from prayers to law of attraction to the 10x rule to I'm going to mute everyone, but if you have something to say, please feel free to unmute yourself. I was just getting some background noise. So it's how do we first access the most powerful part of ourselves, which is our mental, emotional control of ourselves, and from that place of power, make our phone calls for 8-figure dream lifestyle, or pay our bills for our business, or do the tasks and the action that will get the kinds of results that we want. And I am a firm believer that if you take the actions from a place of negativity, resentment, or you know, just any kind of less than hopeful place, you kind of feed that energy through the pipeline of the activity. And so the mindset is really 80% of the game. If you can kind of get yourself in a good, you know, generally good mental attitude, then your results can actually crumble around you, and you'll still be happy. And then when you're still happy, even when the results aren't what you want, you're feeding that goodness into the activity that you're doing, and that is going to get you the results that you ultimately really want. Because life has a way of building on itself. So I think we've all been at some place in life where we're in grief or disappointment or resentment, just, you know, drawn down by our life experiences. So what do we do with that? How do we reset that? How do we tap into this miracle of our bodies? How do we tap into this power of the subconscious mind, this power of the energy that creates worlds, and utilize it? So the first thing that we're going to do today is take a couple of deep breaths, because always and forever, the deep breathing is an immediate reminder that we are connected to an incredible life-giving power. We breathe all night long. We breathe all day long without knowing how to do it, without having to control anything. And when we switch our little bit of participation to meet up with that breath, we can improve our health. We can improve our sense of well-being on a dime, right here, right now. So I'm going to be quiet for a few of my own breaths. I encourage you to take some of your deep breaths. Just give it a kind of a moment to settle in, and just take that suggestion of what's that like right now. We're all over the country. We're breathing together, and in that, I feel so much happier already, and super grateful that you're taking this time to breathe with me. We're all going in the right direction together. All right. Now, isn't that nice? Just take a couple more nice deep breaths. See if you can kind of relax your shoulders, maybe even relax down into your hips a little bit. Let your body feel for a little bit more. And breathe out nice and slowly. And that's a way to plug in and access our power, to give a little more space, a little more restfulness, a little more happiness. Very good. Now I'm going to invite you to do a breath exercise where you kind of put a little more structure around the breath. And this will be a 4-count inhale. So you would breathe in for a count of 4 and then out for a count of 5 or 6. So the idea is to elongate your exhale. Do a few of those. You feel that exhale, that longer exhale, creating kind of a cord or a grounding, utilizing that physical energy to release, let go, and more allowing happening. Nice, slow exhale. Couple more of those. Let it out slow. Slow and long. One more. Nice. There we go. We're done. Mindset, right? So now let's kind of see if we can utilize some of that physical energy, some of that relaxation that we acquired to talk about some specifics about the gap between what our result is or what we want and what we want it to be. How can we work with this kind of continual gap? So one of the pitfalls that people mistakenly do is focus on the gap, and then their mind and their emotions just fall down into the hole of the not there-ness, right? Or the lack thereof this. And that creates a shock in the body of maybe fear, or maybe regret or guilt, these sort of lower, less desirable emotions. Well, that can spiral and it can perpetuate. We've all heard that downward spiral idea, and that can go to an extreme of people can take that to an extreme. Now, we at 8-Figure Dream Lifestyle are high functioning. We're entrepreneurs, we're business owners. So our idea of a downward spiral could be a half an hour of a bad attitude, right? But that varies depending on who you are. So just the very courage or the very willingness to notice that you're going into the gap and focusing on the lack of what you want not being there, that's power. So the very first thing we always have to do is notice, oh, yeah, my results aren't what I want, or I'm feeling that negativity. That moment is, you got to pat yourself on the back for noticing it. Then we gauge how far down, how much momentum have we given that spiral. And the more momentum you've given that spiral, the more intense we're in that negativity, the more gentle we actually have to be to work ourselves out of it. Sometimes you just notice it right away. You're like, oh, that was a little negativity. That was a little skip in my rhythm in the direction I don't want to go. Then it's easy. You catch it early and you can kind of set yourself on track a little bit more quickly. Now, these kinds of ideas, we'll add a guilt. We'll notice, at least I will, I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling negative. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling negative about feeling negative. And then I'll feel negative about feeling negative that I'm feeling negative. And then I'm like, oh, wow. And you're like trying to climb up the hill. That's when you just kind of let yourself slide a little bit and say, it's okay. I'm a human. We have a lot of negativity around us. Training our minds is like training our bodies. It's like training our spending habits. It's like, it takes practice, it takes discipline, and it takes time. You know, the good news about that gap and the good news about noticing that gap is that that's kind of what we're here to do as people. We're actually not here to be all done. We're out for continual growth. If we didn't throw the hat over the fence or make a new goal or try a new business or want more money or want more time with our kids, if we didn't make that gap, that we would stagnate. We wouldn't have purpose. So two things. Notice that there's a gap. Notice how far down we're going into a downward negativity about the lack of it, and then appreciate that it's there. Appreciate that, oh, this is an opportunity to train myself. This is a chance to improve. This is what I'm here to do, which is keep getting better at relating to that gap and appreciating where I'm at, so that next leap that creates a gap is more fun. We get to manage where that gap shows up in our life better and better. We're not responding or reacting as much, because I like to say it this way. You're going to have problems. So let's see if we can choose our problems. Let's see if we can pick the problems that we're tackling. Now that's exciting, right? You got circumstantial problems where you're just reacting to it. A lot of people are there. 8-figure dream lifestyle, we are operating at a higher level. We're operating, choosing our problems. You know, making a gap of, ooh, I want a $22,000 sale. That's an exciting thing. Oh, it's not here yet. I'm not qualified yet. We could go down and say, oh, you know, that I'm blah, 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 and get negative about it. Or we can say, well, that's a gap. That's a challenge I'm choosing. I want to get better at this. So that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about, just the laying of the land. Can I hear from a couple people where your current gaps might be? You know for yourself, okay, I've got this result and I want that result. Can we get some examples out? If you just unmute yourself and let me hear. Francis, you'll share, I'm sure.
Well, I just got my first leads, and I am going to get on Dialer Central and figure out how to plug them in and start my first campaign.
Oh my gosh, that's fantastic. Congratulations.
And that's totally scary.
You got Dialer Central funded then? You got some money in there?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
So it's scary and exciting and all new, and I'm gonna figure this out come hell or high water.
That's awesome. Let's say high water, because hell is not coming. Come heaven and high water.
There you go.
That's what we're saying. Come on, heaven and high water. That's kind of the difference between resenting the fact that we have problems and gaps and choosing them.
Yeah.
And that's an attitude. That's an internal power. It's a discipline to say, I'm going to choose that as, and that phrase is perfect, but it's the subtlety of how we relate to ourself. It's okay to be terrified and own it, right?
Yeah.
It's not really okay with our bodies and ourselves to be terrified and powerless over it. So I hear you in a good space, like that gap. It's just like it's a leap rather than a pitfall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's ultimately where we want to be when we're striving for something new and we're seeking a result that we don't have. That the more we can experience ourselves as leaping that gap, the better. We're not always there, and that's okay. But that's great. Thank you so much for sharing.
Welcome.
Anyone else? Peter? Okay. And we have some people that we can't see, but we can hear. Jim?
Yeah, I'll share. It's Kay.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, Kay.
Yeah, my gap right now is Tuan is my first sale, and I am so excited that he's coming in, but I want to be the best sponsor that I can be. I want to be able to help him achieve what he wants to achieve. And so my goal is to learn exactly how I can sponsor him for him to be able to succeed. And that to me is, I'm working really hard with Massimo in learning how to do what I need to do, because I'm also new in the business. So the two of us are going to learn together. So
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Okay. Well, fantastic. And I hear leaping in there as well. I hear maybe a little fear, right? Like maybe, yeah. But the good part of this business, there's so many good parts of this business, but when it comes to mentorship and duplication, there's multiple lines. It's really not even coach dependent. Yeah. Like he can connect directly with Massimo. He can connect directly with Brian. He can connect directly with me. We have a community of servant leaders that support each other in such a significant way that as you're learning, you're gifting your willingness and your desire to do that, and it translates across the community. So absolutely, you have a dedication to him as an individual, and he obviously hears and feels that as well. It brings up in my mind a little bit of what does it actually mean to be a mentor? Because one of the pitfalls, and it's more of a pitfall than a gap in the sense of it kind of runs automatically or we don't know it's there, is that we have kind of a conditioned response that we're supposed to be a certain way. But Kay's not going to be Massimo. Kathy's not going to be Alex. For us to feel free, we have to be ourselves, not who we think our mom wants us to be, not who we think our direct sponsor wants us to be, not who anyone else thinks we need to be, but who we really are. So starting from that appreciation is always going to be powerful. And then this is a numbers game.
Yeah.
Then this is a numbers game. Like this is this is about consistency and numbers. And so the combination is unstoppable. The combination of when we're just keep becoming more and more of our truer selves and running those numbers, we give everyone in our organization that same freedom and that same permission. So that's really beautiful. I'm really glad you spoke up and shared.
Thank you.
Because that is not uncommon. I'm curious about how many, I would say a lot of people have that same sort of, well, I want to succeed financially in my business, but I know that I need to be a good mentor in the business as well. And that seems like it might be totally different, but it's really not. It's really mostly be the best person you can be and run your numbers.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Kathy?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Will.
Hi, Will.
Hi, I wanted to kind of hitchhike, and I forgot her name. I apologize. She was just speaking about being our first guest, a mentor.
Yes, Kay.
Yes, Kay. I think one thing that I've learned just in my professional sales, not necessarily within the group, because it's also new to me, I've yet to make my first sale, is that don't be afraid to say I don't know to your new person, because they'll respect your honesty and your candidness. And the fact that you say I do not know, but I can find out, use that terminology, reinforces with them that they'll have the same kind of support that they're looking for, because that's the fear we all have, that I don't have the answers. I'm going to appear to be inadequate to them, and that's going to reaffirm maybe there's still some lingering doubts that they do the right thing. So an automatic response, which will help a lot of pressure come off of you and narrow that gap, would be to simply say, I don't know that, but I can find out. And there's where Massimo and Kathy and Jerry and Brian, everybody else who has that knowledge base inherently on the tip of their fingers, you can tap into that, and that relaxes your new prospect, your new member, and really kind of puts them at ease, going, wow, it doesn't matter what I ask, I'm going to get an answer. Even if Kathy's not really knowing it, I can respect that because she's new, like me. Next thing you know, that I don't know, but I can find out becomes, I know what you're asking me. Here's the best way I would approach that, because you've heard the other ones chime in that you relied on. And trust me, they're all wanting to help, because it's in everybody's benefit for this group to function seamlessly. And I just want to put that in there and leave it alone. I can rattle on about it, but I think it's a great subject.
That's a really good point. And William, it's not even necessarily a function of being new or not. There's enough change around things. Bye, Kay. You have a great day. Yeah. There's enough change around things that there are definitely times when you want to check your knowledge, even if you do know or you have been around for a while. So it's called cutting edge. It's called advancement in technology. It's called tweaking and improvement as much as anything. And in the spirit of self-acceptance, I'm okay with not knowing everything. I'm glad I don't have to know everything. I'm glad you don't have to know everything. That does exactly what you're saying as well, William, in terms of taking the pressure off, to say the new literacy is not whether you can read or not. The new literacy is whether you can learn, unlearn, and relearn something and keep moving in the direction of what you're out to accomplish. If you can handle that gap and leap as much as you can leap, and you can fall down into the gap and get yourself out of the gap. That is power. The more you can fuel your sense of accomplishment from challenge versus fuel your sense of disappointment or regret from challenges, the better off you're going to be. So in this business, because it's a numbers game, because we neutralize so much of the so many aspects into a streamlined automation, we have the luxury and the freedom to really sit with our dreams and our goals and our pursuits that way. I'm glad you spoke up, William. Okay, who else? Anybody else want to chime in on a little something? I'm going to talk we're going to go another 10 minutes because I wanted to bring a little tangible content to you guys. So we've got this idea of the gap. We've acknowledged that it's powerful to acknowledge it, right? Because we can be disappointed or negative about our results and not stop ourselves. So it's powerful. You want to give yourself a pat on the back for noticing in the first place, and do whatever you can to pull it into your own ownership, self-acceptance. And then this technique that I'm going to teach you is called emotional freedom technique. And I'm not sure if our callers can see me, so I'll do the best I can in describing the technique. You can also easily find it on YouTube. It's been around 20-something years. It's based in cognitive behavioral therapy and mind-body connection. So what happens to your body when you're feeling negativity? What happens to your emotions when you're kind of going down in a downward spiral? Whether it's a very long, momentous, big, habitual downward spiral, or even whether it's just a moment after a phone call that didn't go the way you want. You kind of constrict, right? Your body gets a constriction, or you get these signals mentally, but also physically that, oh, there's something there. Emotional release technique is a way to use the body's power to self-heal, to lower tension, lower resistance, create neutrality in your mind body, and then from there you can plug into the things that you want more. So it's this idea of working, how do you shorten the gap? How do you get those results that you really want? So you're in a place where you can choose a new challenge, make another gap that's more of your own problem. And this is very simple, and it's based in acupressure points. So our bodies have energy circuits in them, and we use this to our advantage. The very first thing you do in emotional release technique is acknowledge the problem. It sounds so simple, but oh, it's so powerful. So the first tap is on the side of your hand. It's called the karate chop, and it's a set of sensations on the side of your hand. You can just tap it on the side with your finger, or you can tap the pinky sides of your hands together. And while you're tapping, so the emotional release technique is also called tapping. You could Google tapping, and this is what'll come up. So while you're tapping that, you say, yep, there's a gap. Yep, I don't have what I want. Whatever it may be. Say, oh, I'm not qualified. I haven't gotten my first sale, and it doesn't feel very good. I'm acknowledging that I don't have what I want right now. And that's okay. I love and accept myself anyway. So that piece of it neutralizes the intensity. So as you're tapping, you let that picture come up or feeling come up. And it really can work on anything. Desperation, anger, it can work on sadness, grief, it can work on fear, anxiety. You allow yourself to acknowledge it and love and accept yourself anyway. Okay, so that's the first tap. Then it really doesn't matter what order you do the tapping in. I just generally start at the top of the head. At the very top of the head, there's acupressure points where you can release trauma. So you go, I love and accept myself anyway. And I'm going to allow myself to neutralize. I'm going to give some of this stress up. And then between the eyebrows, it's right at the beginning of the eyebrows, kind of the third eye center, tap there. I love and accept myself. And then the temple, I love and accept myself. And breathe. And then underneath the eyes, even though I don't have what I want, even though I'm feeling concerned or inadequate or fearful, I'm going to neutralize. I'm going to let go of some of that. And underneath the nose, you tap underneath the nose right by the nostrils. I'm going to love and accept myself anyway. You can do it with me. It doesn't work if you don't do it. Under the chin. And here's the other acupressure point. Say, even though I'm feeling the missingness and I'm mistakenly fallen into the gap, I'm focusing on lack, I'm going to let go of some of that. I'm going to neutralize some of that. I'm going to love and accept myself anyway. And then the next, bye. I'm so glad you were here. Right on the heart, on the chest, right by the collarbones. Do a little bit of tapping, one hand, either side. Doesn't really make a difference. Take a couple deep breaths. I'm going to love and accept myself anyway. And then you can feel your nervous system relax a bit. And then you can move forward from a more neutral, more self-accepting, more responsible place. And tapping goes on for, it doesn't take long. You can go from neutralizing what you don't want to tapping in statements of what you do want. I want energy and consistency. Energy and consistency. Energy and consistency. Energy, consistency. And it really, just the stimulation of those points, get the circuits of your body lined up. The statement is a suggestion to your subconscious mind. Your body captures and associates that suggestion, and it helps integrate where you are, allows a neutrality, promotes an energy and consistency or whatever positive statement you're tapping in, and then gets you moving in the direction that you want to go. So that's emotional release technique. I really like it. I hope you guys found a little bit of value in our success call today. I'm delighted to cover for Aniko. Please tune in to Aniko on Friday and Leilani on Thursday. Sue does Wednesday. Anything and everything you can do to first go to the source of the most powerful, generative resource that's always there for you, your mind, your subconscious, the energy that creates worlds, and from there operate your business. It's going to be great. Hi, Peter. You pop back in. Let's see, I had one statement, if I can find it. Have you heard of Wallace Wattles' Science of Getting Rich? Maybe. This is a statement from that book. I'm going to end with this. There is a thinking stuff from which all things are made, and it's in its original state, permeates, penetrates, and fills all inner spaces of the universe. A thought in the substance forms that thing. I can form things in my thought, and by impressing my thought onto formless substance, I can cause that thing that I think about to come to me. So it's not just about thinking about cars and boats. It's about feeling connection to our dreams and feeling the gratitude, the satisfaction, the fulfillment that we really want now, no matter what our result gap is. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I love 8FDL. I love you guys. I want your dreams fulfilled, your bank accounts full, your time of leisure super satisfying, your body's healthy. And thanks so much for being here. Hi, Cody. Just popped in. We're just wrapping up. You can catch the recording. You can catch the recording. I'll put it on the Skype group.
It's great information, Kathy. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure, Peter. You going to be in San Diego, Peter?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. I'm definitely going to be there. Look forward to meeting all of you.
Oh, yeah. I still haven't quite decided. I've got something. Anyway, you better believe yeah. I want to be there for sure.
You're undecided as to be there?
I'm undecided. I just got a lot of stuff going on, but.
Oh, no, you need to be there. I want to meet you.
I want to hug you guys. Oh, it's so much fun. When I was in Vail, it was the most exciting. I met Aniko and I said to her, "You're taller than I thought you were." You know, even though you feel like you know people because you've seen them on camera and you hung out with them in some, pretty personal development or mindset can make you feel close to people, and then to hug them is just so great. I just love it. Jerry, Brian. It's gonna be fun. Nice to
Kathy,
see you.
you gotta be there, Kathy. Come on.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know. Okay.
I
Okay.
want to meet you. I want to meet
Absolutely.
you.
So good to see you guys. Oh, much love.
Same. Reciprocated back to you.
All right. Bye for
Yeah.
now, you guys.
Okay. Bye-bye now. Take care.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.
Hi, Kathy.
Bye.